Hey, my name is Seth Meshko. I'm a three-dimensional animator and been working with Unity for a few years now. Definitely not a seasoned pro at Unity yet, but getting a good footing. If you'd like to check out my work, it's at joystick-game.com. What I'm going to show today is how to make like a muzzle flash with a texture object. Somebody in a forum had asked this question, and I had started answering, but they weren't really getting it. So I decided, well, this is in my wheelhouse. I could show them, do a little tutorial. Since I didn't find anything on the internet, I figured, well, maybe other people are going to need this. So I decided to go ahead and make it. So with that, let's get started. So this is Unity. It's just a fresh scene. I do have like the kind of complete folder. I've already done this once just to make sure that I knew what I was doing. But we're going to recreate this. So we're going to start with a 3D object and we're going to do a cube, okay? And then we'll just duplicate that and move it up. Okay, this is super generic. You don't need to spend a bunch of time on this. This script will be, used in, on an actual modeled real, gun at some point. But for now, all we need is just like, some real basic stuff to just do positional stuff. So we're going to go ahead and create an empty, and we will group these underneath that, and we'll just call this gun. Okay. Oops, caps lock's on. So the only necessary part of this whole thing is this part, this topmost node. Okay. This stuff is superfluous. It's just there for reference. Okay, so we're gonna add a new script, and we'll call this since it's all this is just the muzzle shot fire. How about fire? Okay, create an ad. Okay, so here we've got this script. We'll go ahead and open this up, and what we want out of this thing is for it to just instantiate an object and an assignable object that will be a variation of a muzzle flash. Okay, so eventually we're going to want to be able to like switch out these textures and throw down, like let's say it's a shotgun blast. It's going to look different than like a revolver blast, which is what what we'll be doing here. Okay, so that's just a note to just kind of know what's going on. Now, so what are we going to need in this? Okay, so we're going to need a public game object that will be called muzzle flash. Okay. We will also want, so we were going to want this to emanate from a very specific point, right? We want it to emanate from the end of the gun barrel. So, I mean, just for now, we'll want to assign that manually. However, at some point we're probably just going to want to like have it, just find that object without us assigning it. But for now, let's just go ahead and make it make it something that we manually assign. Okay, so now we're going to want to create the muzzle flash object itself. And just for the sake of being relatively complete about this, this is the texture file, okay? And all this is some layered shapes, and with some different colors and stuff, with a transparent background. We're going to go ahead and save this out as a PNG with transparency, okay? And it's 512 by 512, which is probably way bigger than it needs to be, but whatever, we might be pretty close to that gun. So I'll go ahead and put this in the place that it needs to be. There we go. Projects. Muzzle flash. Assets. Okay. Muzzle flash PNG. Okay. Okay, back here in Unity. So now we've got this muzzle flash, but I'll just go ahead and make, we're going to create the game object and 3D object. It'll be a plane, okay? Now, we're going to want a texture for that, so we'll go ahead and create a new material, call this muzzle flash material. We'll assign it to that, and then we'll go ahead and drop this into the color channel there. Okay, and so now right away you're going to see this doesn't look like what we would expect. Okay, so first off, this needs to have alpha is transparency. Okay, and it was sort of an improvement, but now it's all red. What we're just going to want here now is to take this and make it cut out, okay? And so now that's what we're looking for. Yeah, obviously that's pretty darn large, so we'll reduce the size of this bad boy significantly, and we'll just go ahead and rotate it into the position that we're going to be looking for. Whoa, that was why it's already got values. That was strange. We'll zero it out, 0, 0, 0, and now we'll reposition it. There we go. So negative 90, and then we'll go ahead and bring it like that. Okay, and we'll position. Actually, before we move it, let me show you what's going on. If we rotate to the back of this, it's going to disappear, okay? And that's just because of back face culling. So what we're going to want is a second plane that is just rotated 180 degrees right down, or in this case we negative 90. Okay, and so now we'll see that on both sides, and you could make it like a quad, like 4-planar thing to get some more dimension out of it, or actually make this a shape. But this is what I'm going to use for now. I kind of like how sort of campy it looks. Now what I'm going to do is create an empty for this to go into. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and slide those into that, and this will be called the muzzle flash prefab. Okay. Okay, so now let's go ahead, so that we've got this it's centered about in its objects there, so we're just going to go ahead and slide those on forward until they're about there. Okay, and now that muzzle flash should be that center point should be kind of more the sort of origin of where the fire is. What's going on here? Oh, we've got some transforms here, so zero that out, 0, 0, and then 0, 0, 0, and 0, 0. Sorry. Alright, now we will move those forward. Okay, there we go. That's what we're looking for. Okay, so now just dragging this into your assets folder creates a prefab, okay? And now you can delete it from, it turns blue, you can see. And now this thing is, it's basically, it's done for now, okay? So we can just delete it from our hierarchy. But as a prefab, it's, you know, it's locked into your project unless you delete it, so you can use it again and again. Okay, so now we're going to use it in our script here. Okay, so back into Visual Studio Muzzle Flash. Okay, so we've got this. Let's go ahead and save this. Save this. Let's see. That was weird. Alright. So, now we've got these public variables available to us. So what we're going to do is we're going to toss Muzzle Flash prefab into Muzzle Flash, and we're going to have to make an empty for the gun barrel. So game object create empty. We'll just position this at the place that we want to create that that muzzle flash, and we'll call this gun barrel. Okay, and then we'll parent it into the gun so that if the gun moves, that moves. Okay, and then in here we'll just put barrel in. Now, we'll probably later we'll just run a search for it and just, like, you know, have this populated. But that's down the road. We're just going to do this like down and dirty and super fast, and then worry about more, you know, better iterations later. Okay, so now what are we doing? Okay, so back in the script, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to, like, when the fire key is pressed, we're just going to want to instantiate this, you know, object, and then have it go. So okay, so what this is doing is when the F key is pressed, it's going to instantiate a copy of the muzzle flash, and then it's going to put it at the barrel end dot transform position. In the quaternion identity, this just means that it's going to be zeroed out in its rotation. Okay, so let's go ahead and save that and test it. Okay, so we'll just push play, and guess we'll get back a little bit. Where's our camera? There it is. So we'll go ahead and kind of bring this off a little bit and get a little bit of perspective on the situation. There we go. Okay, so there it is. Alright, cool. So now, but if we just keep hitting it, it's just going to create more and more and more that's just layering on top of each other. So we're going to want it to destroy that object almost immediately after it's fired. Okay, so on the muzzle flash prefab, we're just going to drag that back into the scene, and we're going to add a script onto it. And whoops, those are existing scripts. New script, and we'll do destroy. We'll go yeah, destroy flash. How about that? Okay, so create an add. Okay, and then whatever, we'll get that loaded up. Okay, so basically all we want to have happen here is, as soon as it's created, we want it to destroy it after some amount of time. Okay, so like, if we don't want it to destroy it instantaneously because we would never see it, we want at least, you know, a few moments of time in the scene. So in the start function, we will call a method that we'll create down here. So we don't even need update, so we can just get rid of that. We're going to have this little procedure run here, and then we need private. It could be public. We'll never be able. Well, why not? Whatever. We'll make it public. Public. Float. Time to destroy, and then equals 0.5. Okay, so we're just make 0.5f to make it a float. Yeah, that's, I don't know. We might want to change that, but for now we'll just do that. I made it public so that I could change it in the inspector here, but whatever. We'll probably just do it with code. But anyway, so now we're going to update this, apply that, okay, and then we can delete it out of the scene again. Oh wait, I don't think I'm done with that script yet. Let's get back into start. Yeah, so now we just want to call that here in the start function. Okay, so as soon as it starts up, it's going to run this. The time to destroy is 0.5 seconds, and that should fly. Okay, so we'll get back up in here, push play, hit F, and it's not working. It's just going to keep making more. That's bizarre. Hold on. Okay, as it turns out, I just didn't say my script. Okay, so here we go. So we should push play, and we should see that. There we go. That muzzle flash happens. It's staying a bit long for an explosion, so we can go ahead back into here, and we'll just put like 0.1 and see what that looks like. And again, like let's say we wanted to change that. Oops. Here, we could change it here too. However, no, that wouldn't work. Never mind. This doesn't need to be public at all. Not that it really matters all that much, but we'll just go ahead and we'll make this private, so as to not confuse anybody, and it's equal to 0.1. We'll go ahead and save that, and then we'll check this out. And now it should just display for like one little brief moment, okay? And then it goes away, okay? And then of course, if we were to move the gun, that is all gonna still work. All right, cool. So that's it. That's all there is to that. I'll probably do like another session on this when I actually implement it into the real object, and have it in a scene that's a lot more complex. And we're gonna want to add a bit to this so that it's not. You don't have to do a lot of assigning and know anything about this sort of construction in order to use it. All right, but that's it for now. Thanks a lot, and get a hold of me if you have any questions. Thanks.